The first thing I remember is the sound in the studio. Not the weather alarms, not yet, but the little click of the anchor's compact snapping shut. She didn't even look up when I walked in, just caught my reflection in the mirror and said, "You the weather consultant? Keep it friendly. No apocalypse stuff." Her name was Lauren Price. Perfect hair, perfect posture, last word on the morning news in a city called Prairie Ridge. Short drive from cornfields, long walk from humility. I'd been awake for 36 hours, tracing something mean, crawling across 3 states, a supercell building, like a grudge. My tablet showed velocity signatures so tight they looked like braided wire. Lauren, I told her we've got 39 minutes before a violent tornado crosses the east side. If we start evacuation messaging now, we keep whole neighborhoods alive. She gave me the smile that says, "Bless your heart," and knocked her knuckle on the desk. "Viewers don't click for panic," she said. "Give me breezy with showers." I felt the old sting, the one that shows up in job interviews and conference rooms, and every time someone thinks a calm black woman can't possibly be the one in charge. I took a breath. "This isn't about clicks," I said, "it's about sirens." And then, as if the building heard me, the ceiling lights fluttered a hiccup, and the floor director shouted, "We're live in 30. She turned to camera one like she was flipping on a light inside herself. "Good morning, Prairie Ridge. Lauren Price here, and joining us, visiting consultant." She put a question mark on consultant so gently you almost didn't hear it. People at home did. People always do. I held up the tablet anyway. "East Lake Mill Flats, Riverbend. You have under 40 minutes. Get to interior rooms, bottom floors, no windows, do not drive." The crack of plastic on wood rang through the studio when she slapped the tablet down. "We're not fear-mongering on my show." She hissed soft enough that the mics barely caught it loud enough to burn. She gave security a little chin flick, like escort our guest. And then the sirens outside finally found their voice. Here's where time slows, or maybe it just gets honest. The red strobes washed over teleprompters, the audio board, the coffee mug with her name in gold, and the camera operator said not to anyone in particular, "You hearing this?" Everyone was. "Sirens don't ask for permission, they just arrive, ma'am." The lead guard said to me, "You got ID." I did. I didn't want to my cover, as a plain old consultant had taken months to set up, but lives were on a countdown. I opened the leather folder. "I'm Dr. Zara Coleman, Severe Weather Operations National Mid-Plains Center. I coordinate incident response across 7 states when the sky turns mean." Something flickered across the guard's face, respect or relief, maybe both. Lauren reached for the badge like heat reaching for metal. "Anyone can print a seal," she said, voice tight. "We verify before we broadcast." Right then my belt radio spat, a voice so calm it made my bones go cold. "Command to Coleman, touchdown reported south of Mill Flats, multi-vortex confirmed east-northeast at 52. The room stilled. You could hear the paper in the printer tray hum. I stepped around Lauren, not around her, past her, and faced camera one. "Prairie Ridge, I'm talking to you directly. You have 32 minutes before a violent tornado reaches the East Districts. If you're in East Lake Mill Flats, Riverbend, interior rooms, lowest floor helmets, if you have them, mattresses over kids, stay off the roads." "Cut her mic," Lauren snapped. The audio tech hovered, eyes bouncing between her finger and the weather feed screaming in red. He didn't cut me. That was the first miracle of the morning. Here's the part I don't tell. Like a lecture, this is just how it felt. The wall of wind outside was a living thing. The pressure in my sinuses dipped like an elevator falling through the basement, and the sky out the studio windows turned that sick, greenish bruise that storm chasers learn to respect. I've seen dozens of rotating storms. This one looked like it came to settle a score. "Protocol 7 is active," a second voice came over my line. "State emergency ops clipped in businesslike. Dr. Coleman, you have incident command." Lauren blinked. "Incident? What command?" I said, "Already. Moving, already mapping. I'm not asking anymore." Phones started buzzing all over the studio like cicadas. The floor director mouthed to me, "Go." The camera op rolled with me as I crossed to the big wall map. "This path," I said, drawing with my hand, cuts from Mill Flats Elementary to the Hover Street overpass to Mercy East Auxiliary. "If you know someone there, call them. Tell them to move now." Lauren was shaking her head, still trying to bend reality around her script. Our regular meteorologist said it would be light showers, she kept repeating, like a spell would snap this into a better day. I didn't answer her. I was too busy answering the city. Air assets, I told the radio stage north of the river for post-impact sweep coordinate with Mercy West and Ridge General trauma surgeons, blood units, extra generators, deploy shelters at the Civic Center. In the fairgrounds, we're looking at 15,000 displaced. Security took half a step toward me, then stopped because even they could see it now. A wedge on the outer cam, black wide wrong. People think tornadoes twist like cartoon ropes. The big ones are blunt. They erase. The glass panes vibrated in their frames. Someone's coffee walked across the table by itself. Lauren whispered, "Oh my God." Not to me, not to the camera, just to whatever she finally believed in. It's real. It was real when I walked in. I said, maybe sharper than I should have some mornings. The years of being second-guessed build up and spill. Now help me save them. To her credit, and I'm not stingy with credit, she did. She slid to the side out of frame and let the lens stay on me. For the next 20 minutes, the city talked to me through a dozen voices, police, fire, air, guard, school principals, whose hands shook on the phone, a grocery manager who emptied the walk-in to clear space for sheltering customers, a bus driver who turned his route into a rescue. Coleman Command said compliance estimate at 60% in climbing where your warning hit first. East Lake PTA is sheltering in the church basement. They want to know if it's deep enough. Tell them to stack against interior walls, I answered, and get head protection, helmets, pots, whatever. Keep the kids singing, make noise routine. Lauren stood a foot away from me, silent, watching the radar velocity unfold like bad news, and learning maybe for the first time what it looks like when science isn't a chart but a lifeline. When the tornado crossed Mill Flats Elementary, the feed from a city cam blew out in gray. The principal's voice came through cracking, but steady. We evacuated at 8:12. Buildings empty. A breath I didn't know I was holding finally let go. Copy, I said, and then the building around us moaned, that deep old earth noise of steel choosing to flex instead of break. A light fixture fell and swung, strobing the room like a haunted metronome. 3 minutes to downtown, Command said. 2, I countered, watching the forward speed tick up like an engine pushed past red line. It's accelerating. This is where the work turns into instinct. You stop second-guessing, and you let the years do the driving. I rattled GPS coordinates without looking. I told a paramedic unit to pull off an overpass because overpasses are wind tunnels. I told a mother on line 3 that the bathtub is okay if you drag a mattress over it and make a fort. I told the camera in the most ordinary voice I had, if you're hearing me under this roof, we'll take care of you. If you're hearing me in a basement, don't be brave, be boring. Boring wins. Impact is both a thing and a verb. When it hit downtown, paper went sideways. The outer camera saw only a wall, no sky, no city, just fast dirt. I kept talking. Hold the doors. Keep your heads down. My radio crackled with 100 small thunderstorms of human sound crashes, swears, prayers, we got you, stay with me. And once beautifully, go Owls, because a coach decided his boys needed a familiar cheer to hold on to. And then after a long minute that bent physics, the rumble stepped down a half note, then another, then another. The wedge eased past the studio like a stranger brushing your shoulder on a crowded sidewalk, impersonal, enormous, gone. Post-impact, I said. Air units go. Police, fire, EMS fan out by grid. Volunteers wait until we assign. This stays organized or it gets worse. Numbers started replacing fear. Casualty count preliminary command said serious injuries, 3 dozen minor in the hundreds. Fatalities. 4. The room went quiet around that word. In any other storm this size, that number would have been 100 times higher. But 4 is still 4. Every delay, every doubt, every ego that wants the last word, that's a name on a list. By late afternoon, the city smelled like wet lumber and diesel and the weird clean scent of rain after it has run through a machine. We stood up a shelter at the fairgrounds, and the line moved like a miracle. Not because of me, because of neighbors who decided to be family for a while. We had pets on ropes, grandmas with paper sack, purses, teenagers directing traffic like they'd been born doing it. The sun was low and the clouds were tired. We were too. Here's the part you want to ask about Lauren. She came to me while I was writing the incident summary on a folding table sticky with lemonade. No camera, no makeup, just a woman ruining her good blouse with sweat and air full of grit. Her voice was small. I was wrong, she said, and looked me in the eye like it cost her. I wanted control more than I wanted to listen. I'm not a judge. I'm a weather woman who learned the sky by listening to things bigger than me. I nodded. Next time you hear a voice that doesn't sound like what you expect, and it's telling you how to keep people breathing, let it finish the sentence. She did something braver than saying sorry. She handed me her mic pack. You do the update, she said, and stepped off the platform. Weeks later, the city gave me a plaque I don't have a wall big enough for, and somebody in a suit used words like commendation and authority, but the thing that sticks is a text from a number I didn't recognize. It said, "We made the bathtub for it like you said. My kid thinks you're a superhero. I told him you were just a scientist who cared enough to talk straight." There's a version of this story where everything wraps up clean, tidy arc lessons, learned, credits rolling. Real life is messier. Some folks still think alarms are drama. Some folks still trust familiar faces over hard data. And some people heard me that morning and chose to drive anyway because hope is a strong drug and the interstate looks like an exit from fear, right up until the overpass turns into a funnel. So tell each other, where do you draw the line between skepticism that keeps us honest and pride that gets people hurt? Who do you listen to when comfort and expertise disagree? If you've ever watched someone be dismissed because they didn't fit the picture, what did it cut? Drop your city, your storm, your lesson in the comments. Argue with me if you need to about media, about bias, about what authority looks like, but don't argue with the wind. If this story made you feel something, anger, relief, resolve, hit subscribe, share it with the one person who will roll their eyes during the next warning, and tell me below in your neighborhood when the sirens sing, do you follow the script or do you finally listen?